Good morning, Eastern Carolina. I'm Storm Track 12 meteorologist Les Still with your Thursday morning forecast. And for the first time all week, we're not really talking about a named storm of Chantal, but it is going to have an impact on us here in Eastern Carolina as we go on through this weekend here. Today, we're still okay. I mean, a little bit more coverage of storms today than what we saw yesterday, but we will see some sunshine breaking through from time to time, and that'll get our temperatures back up to near that 90-degree mark. Again, we're going to be continuing with those scattered storms around, any of which could have some brief heavy downpours with them. But I am tracking the potential for some heavy rainfall coming in tomorrow into at least the early afternoon hours on Saturday, as we're going to be talking about not only just the front coming into the tropical air mass, but also the remnants of Chantal getting involved into that. And then, as I said, we are still continuing to track it. It will have an input into our weather here as we go on through the weekend, and after that we'll be done talking about it. Still, from 2 weeks ago, we still are dealing with some of the effects of the rivers, creeks, and streams running high. Basically one areas where we're looking at in Lenoir County, the Neuse River, that's pretty much holding steady at 16.5 feet, and that will remain high, if not even start to go up a little bit more, depending on how much rainfall we get tomorrow going into Saturday. So we could be talking about additional flooding on that. And then also the Continia Creek in Hookerton, we are going to be seeing that slowly fall, but again, it depends on how much rainfall we get in that basin that supports the Continia Creek, and of course that drains into other rivers. We're also in Martin County, looking in Hamilton and also in Williamston. The Roanoke River running high, that potentially could be coming out of its banks here as we go through this weekend, just again depending on just how much rainfall we really get. So for the day today, mixture of sun and clouds around, isolated showers and storms will be scattered about, temps in the upper 80s and low 90s. Storms around the area overnight tonight. Muggy, temperatures in the mid to upper 70s. And then as we go on through the day tomorrow, pretty much a washout for us here in Eastern Carolina. We're going to be looking at periods of heavy rain throughout the day tomorrow. That's going to start causing some minor flooding issues as far as poor drainage areas. And then more rainfall in here on Saturday. So by Sunday and Monday, even though the weather will improve, we'll still be talking about potential for some problems along the rivers, the creeks, and the streams. All right, here's our setup. A couple areas of low pressure tracking along this front as it's making its way through Ohio. And yet again, we've got southwesterly winds bringing that warm, moist tropical air out ahead of this system. And the problem is the front comes into Eastern Carolina and stalls out. Part of the reason is because the way the jet stream is going to reconfigure itself, and that will eventually bring drier air in with it. We'll talk about that here in just a minute. But let's track the remnants of Chantal. Now, what you'll notice is that the initial part of the loop, where the low-level center was southwest of Hispaniola, it kind of reformed. At least the cloud mass broke off, and now it's headed up through the eastern portions of the Bahama Islands. And as we travel that straight northbound here, getting into the flow, yeah, Eastern Carolina lies in the upstream of that there. So we are going to be looking at showers and storms working their way through the area, and then enhanced moisture getting up along that front as we head on through Friday and Saturday because of the remnants of Chantal. Again, we don't have a discernible low-level circulation with it. It's just the added heat, the added moisture, added to an already warm tropical air mass. I mean, after all, it came from the tropics. That's why we call it a tropical storm. So it is going to give us enhanced rainfall in here because of that. So here's what Future Track is showing as we go on through the day today. We are going to be watching some action develop late morning, early afternoon hours along the sea breeze front as it makes its way in through Jones, Craven, Lenoir County here. Showers and storms getting going Rocky Mount down towards Goldsboro. That'll be late afternoon hours, and then that'll work its way towards the coast as we head overnight tonight. Now, we'll lose the daytime heating, so we'll lose some of the storms around, but still, I think overnight tonight, especially along the coastal sections, as Future Track is showing us here, the potential's there for some storms around. Notice the heavier rainfall up around Raleigh and northwest of Rocky Mount. That then is going to be the front with the warm tropical air from Chantal's remnants getting in here. That's going to just help exacerbate the situation as we go on through tomorrow. Rain coming down heavy at times, potential for some flash flooding issues. That still continues through much of the daytime hours tomorrow and even going into tomorrow night. So, how much rainfall are we looking at? Well, let's just go through tomorrow night and begin with here. And you notice there are some spots potentially Future Track showing to pick up a half an inch today. So again, it kind of depends on when that action gets going. and then running this out through the rest of the model run here as we go on through, let's catch that back there, as we go on through Saturday night, or Friday night, excuse me, we are going to be looking at the potential there for 1 to 2 inches of rainfall, and on Saturday maybe another ½ inch to an inch of rainfall around. So we do have the potential for 2, maybe a couple isolated spots of 3 inches of rainfall when all is said and done by the time we hit this weekend here. Again, this is running through Saturday early morning. You can see the model's already picking up a lot of spots over that 1 to 2 inch mark. So why do we look for drier air coming in? Well, as I mentioned earlier, it's the way the jet stream is going to reconfigure itself. Let's take a look and see what we've got going on here right now. And this is what the board looks like here. We do have an upper level ridge sitting back out over the Four Corners and western Rockies. Trough coming in, but remember that Bermuda high sitting out here? We saw this pattern 2 weeks ago, and that's what gave us that nice warm stretch of weather after the prolonged rainy stretch that we had. It does the same thing. It's going to flex westbound here. Now, as a result, that creates resistance, so as this trough and front try to come in, it's not going to be able to sweep off the coast. The front's only going to be able to get so far and then stall out because of this upper level ridge resisting it here, basically putting up a shield. So here's how things play out on the jet stream map here, and as a result, we get what's called a trough split. Notice how the cutoff low kind of develops here, and then it's going to be forced off to the south and the west as the upper level ridge rebuilds. Again, here's that Bermuda high. By Saturday, it's already starting to flex in here. So as a result, the heavy rainfall that was here gets driven further off to the west, just as what we saw a week and a half to 2 weeks ago. And then watch how this high kind of starts to hook itself over the top. Here's the other upper level high that was out here in Texas and Oklahoma. That's going over the top. Here's the other one here that takes this upper level low and kind of forces it back this way. So it's literally like somebody in basketball blocking out, because that upper level high really just comes right in over the northern mid-Atlantic states. As a result, drier air punches in over us here in eastern Carolina from the northeast. And then eventually we'll get that cutoff low pressure to kind of work itself out of the system, and the highs hook over the top, and that's going to allow us to see warm, downright hot conditions, let's call it that, coming from Chicago and the Ohio Valley down into us here in eastern Carolina, eventually by the middle of the end of next week. So heaviest rainfall we're going to be looking at tonight in through at least the early afternoon hours on Saturday. So about, say, 48 hours worth of potential for some heavy rain coming into the area. That's why we do have the potential for the flooding issues around here with the already swollen rivers, creeks, and streams. Then the drier air from the upper level ridge presses in from the north and the east, and as a result, we'll see the rain chances kind of diminish later on Saturday. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, there's still tropical air in place, lots of sunshine around. I'll leave in the chance for some typical sea breeze storms, but not anticipating as much coverage of them for Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday as what we're going to be looking at as we go on through Friday and Saturday. We'll be here in the Storm Track 12 Weather Center monitoring this, and even with Chantal, it's getting into an area where it potentially could kind of get its act together. So it may inhabit even more enhanced rainfall from that. That's something I'm concerned about and something I'll be tracking and alerting you to. I'm Storm Track 12 meteorologist Les Still. Have yourself a good Thursday.